So I've had the BLANCPAIN Swatch for almost 5 months now, and today I'm going to be running through everything it has to offer and sharing my personal experience of ownership in the attempt to answer that all important question, is it really worth it? And should you buy one? Okay, 2 questions, you get the picture. If you're new here, welcome to Time Drops. I'm Andrew, and on this channel we chat about pretty much all things watches. And no better timepiece to take centre stage today than one that's caused one heck of a storm and practically divided enthusiasts right in half since its launch late last year. Just as the watch world was calming down from the Moon Swatch in March of 22, almost exactly 18 months after, Swatch were back with another collab to shake things up again. This time in partnership with BLANCPAIN, another luxury brand that sits under the Swatch umbrella, to celebrate the 70th birthday of the very important 50 Fathoms, one of the first true divers watches in existence, by bringing to us 5 ocean-inspired, playful yet commemorative timepieces. So the marketing campaign started up again, and once again they were incredibly impressive, and it turns out incredibly effective too. It was kind of unknown whether lines for the BLANCPAIN name would match that of the arguably much wider known and more popular Omega, but boy did people queue. Once again, the hype generated from this drop meant that those who wanted to get their hands on one on release day had to pitch up outside their nearest store, many of which arriving the day before. Now, I can't lie, I was sucked in by this too. Really liked the concept on first look, and having previously picked up the Sun Moon Swatch, I was very much ready for round 2. However, I was not about to line up. Retail for this watch was £340 in the UK or $400 in the US, and as to be expected, they would very soon be offered up on the secondary market for double, if not triple, if not quadruple within a matter of minutes. So, just as I advised anyone who asked me at the time, I waited for a couple of weeks for the original wave to die down a bit, then headed over to see what eBay had to offer. This paid off. As you can see, the one that stood out the most for me was this beige and orange Arctic Ocean iteration. I ended up paying just £30 over retail and picked this one up for £370 including shipping, saving me a train ticket and inevitable disappointment when I arrived at one of their stores. I was stoked with this, but of course then came the question, is it really worthy of this price range? And the answer to that question is no. And yes. Let's get into it. Kicking things off with the Arctic Ocean's case. Constructed of Swatch's patented bioceramic, this watch is made up of eco-friendliness, combining a blend of 2/3 ceramic and 1/3 biosourced material derived from castor plant oil, resulting in a still very much Swatch feeling lightweight wear, yet surprisingly solid build, especially in comparison to the Moon Swatch, which, as many of you will know, is incredibly sensitive to say the least. This brilliant beige colour of the Arctic is then capped off with a smooth matte finish. The watch's crown sits proudly at 3 o'clock, etched with the respective pair's logos, and again feels light in hand but relatively sturdy, with rivets to ensure a good grip. Plus, because this watch comes on a NATO, which we'll get onto shortly, it sits slightly higher on the wrist, making the crown easy to manipulate while on the move. An unusual twist, literally, is that this watch's crown must be wound backwards or anti-clockwise to give it some power. This was my first experience with a System 51, so this took a little while to get used to. Then pulled out all the way to its second position to set the time, bypassing the first position as this model, along with the Antarctic, does not have a date window between the 4 and 5 o'clock position like the others in this lineup do. Now, as mentioned, this timepiece utilises the System 51 movement. Well, technically it's a System 47, as Swatch have removed the date element entirely. Anyway, this is Swatch's widely used automatic offering that features 51 parts, usually, with one central screw, and is entirely machine made. It beats at 21,600 vibrations per hour, has 19 joules, and boasts an impressive 90-hour power reserve. And so far, I can't complain about the timekeeping element at all. Its accuracy has been absolutely spot on. I wonder if you guys do the same, but with any new automatic watch, I always find I'm whipping out my phone at multiple points throughout the day to validate it in the early days of wearing it. But yeah, it's been great. One thing that is absolutely not great, however, is the watch's lack of serviceability. Due to the caseback being securely glued to ensure water resistance up to 50 fathoms or 91 meters or 300 feet, it's not possible to open it for a movement swap when necessary. Yep, this watch cannot be serviced. ultimately meaning that eventually this watch will literally run out of time. I'm not entirely sure what the life expectancy of a System 51 is, some say 2 to 5 years, others 10 plus, I guess time will tell. However, one thing that can be said is there will come a time where we'll have a lot of non-functioning watches out there, which kind of contradicts their eco-friendly approach in the beginning unless they can be recycled again, I suppose, whatever. It definitely won't be ideal. Let's try and enjoy them while they last then, shall we? Flipping this watch around in true Swatch fashion, the movement is visible thanks to its exhibition case back, which offers an awesome view. On the rare occasion you might remove the strap entirely, you'll see a captivating illustration of an ocean and a colourful nudibranch on its rotor. For this one, the Dendronotus frondosus, absolutely not how you pronounce it I'm sure, is responsible for the use of the striking combination of beige and orange tones on this timepiece. This popping contrast is no better demonstrated than on its bezel, which is unidirectional and yet again has a real strong feel. I don't use this on a regular basis, but anytime I do, it's a good experience, it does the job well and certainly looks the part. This bezel insert, along with the dial, has superluminova applied, presenting a nice and effective blue glow when the lights get low. They're both also made from the same biosourced crystal and benefit from scratch resistant coating, which was a simple yet very welcome addition on this collab, especially considering such a coating was not present on the Moon Swatch. I've knocked this a few times on the go and given that grimace face as I've slowly turned my wrist to check, but to my grateful eyes, no unpleasant surprise. Diving deeper into the dial, this one's built from metal and printed in several layers to achieve this very cool gradient effect as it nears its hour markers. The watch's sword-like hands also continue its bold presence and offer an easy read from any angle. Sat just underneath the arrow at 12, we see the BLANCPAIN 50 Fathoms logo written proudly in its historic font. Again in line with the Antarctic, but differentiating from the remaining three. Finally, at the 6 o'clock position, a distinctive symbol graces the lower part of the dial. A red trefoil on a yellow background with a white cross intersecting it. And the words "No Radiations" are found below this emblem in an attempt to pay homage to the esteemed 50 Fathoms legacy. Pretty cool, in fact each part of this dial is well thought out and combined to make a sweet viewing experience. Now, the NATO straps on all 5 of these models are made up of recycled fishing nets and feature a contrasting 3-striped pattern throughout, fastened in and secured by their buckle and loops that, again, are made from bioceramic material, with the words Scuba, 50 Fathoms and Swatch nicely engraved across them. This is super comfortable. Not too much of a surprise I suppose considering it's a NATO, but there are plenty of cheap feeling uncomfortable ones out there, and that is not the case with this one. In fact, in combination with its dimensions of 48mm lug to lug, 42.3 in diameter and 14.4mm thick, the comfort levels overall of this watch are excellent, and thanks to its light weight of 44 grams, almost make you forget you're wearing it at times. One set of dimensions that are a bit weird though are its lug widths of 21.2-ish millimeters, obviously not meeting a standard. I haven't yet ventured out for an aftermarket strap, but see most outlets are offering 22mm for these. They seem to look alright, but interested to hear your opinion down below if you've swapped yours out already. In any case, I'm more than happy to carry on with this one as long as it lasts. So, taking all of this into consideration, is the BLANCPAIN Swatch really worth it? And should you buy one? Well, I'll start by addressing the reasons why you shouldn't. First off, durability. I mean, if you're familiar with the channel, you'll know I'm a G-Shock guy, where durability is an aspect that is pretty much unrivaled. This Blanc Swatch, I guess that's what we're calling it, is certainly not that. While I have been impressed with this, Casio, Seiko, Citizen, etc. all offer a much tougher timepiece than Swatch for your money. The other main point going against this watch is of course its lack of serviceability, which is understandably a deal breaker for many. So if you're looking for an all-in-one daily timepiece, this is not that. However, I can't help but really like it, and here's why. First off, its design. I love the way this thing looks, especially in the beige and orange colorway of the Arctic. From its NATO strap to its gradient dial and everything in between, this just looks awesome for me. Another reason is, just like the Moon Swatch, it's an awesome opportunity to get the name of a luxury watch brand on your wrist without paying luxury watch money. Perfect for those just getting into watches or seasoned enthusiasts who just want a bit of fun with their timepieces. And that's exactly what this is, fun. Which brings me on nicely to my main point. Look, was I a huge fan of BLANCPAIN before this collab? No. Was I sucked into the hype of this collab? Probably. Am I impressed by the fact it has a definitive shelf life? Absolutely not. but I like to try and live in the moment as much as possible and judge watches for what they are right now. And being completely honest, I've loved every minute of wearing this, which speaks for itself really, and for that reason, for me, it's every bit worth it. But of course, with every watch and almost everything, this is totally subjective, so I'm keen to see your opinion in the comments. Are you for or against the Blanc Swatch? Do you have one? Are you planning on getting one? Are you totally avoiding them? Let me know down below. And as always, let me know if there's a particular watch you'd like to see reviewed. Thanks again for watching guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.